Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello. Great. Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me to be here today. I work with Rethinking Schools magazine, which is a magazine that, it's a quarterly magazine that has been around since 1986, working around issues of social justice and education. So most of the stuff in our magazine and in our books are articles written by teachers, for teachers, showcasing curriculum that they're teaching in their own classrooms around like various social justice topics. And DACA has definitely been a focus for us because of how important this moment is politically. The editorial in our upcoming magazine for the winter is going to be on DACA, and then in the spring we're going to have a DACA themed issue as well. And so I'm just going to share with you, if I can figure out how to do this. Yes, there we go. I'm just going to share with you some resources that we have. And that is not what I wanted. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm kind of new to this Zoom thing. So this is our website right here. So as you can see, the magazine here, we also have a blog. And on our blog, we've been trying to post as much about DACA as we can. So this is an article that I wrote about teaching about DACA with just some basic resources, some activities that you can do with students, some books, children's books that talk about immigration. And a lot of this comes from my own experience as a teacher. I was a elementary school bilingual teacher for about 10 years. And I'm just out of the classroom now working as a submissions editor. So you can see here there are some infographics, some videos, and things like that as well. We also have some books that are relevant to the topic. Rethinking Bilingual Education, which is a book that I helped work on editing, has a focus on bringing students' languages and cultures into the classroom. So not only in bilingual classrooms, but in many of the classrooms that we teach in have students with many different home languages and cultures. So this book is really about inviting that in and making those connections with families that allow students to share their immigration stories, to feel safe in a space, and to develop a political consciousness around advocating for themselves and their rights. The Line Between Us, this is another wonderful book about teaching about the border and Mexican immigration. This book really does a great job. This is like really a curriculum source book, so there's a lot of actual lessons, activities in there, like Tea Party lessons, role plays, that kind of thing, and it goes into the root causes of undocumented immigration, which I think is something that it's very important for us to be talking about, because the national rhetoric right now is really casting immigrants, like undocumented immigrants, as like criminals who've broken a law coming into this country without documentation. But in actuality, there are really significant economic reasons that trace back to the United States and our policies that have caused the instability in countries that people are coming from. And that's something that our students can learn about, especially at older grade levels. They can learn about NAFTA, they can learn about some of the kinds of trade agreements and some of the policies that the United States government has engaged in that have caused the current situation. We also do have some resources in Spanish. We try to get a couple of articles from each issue translated. So that's another resource if you're working with in a community where there are teachers and students who prefer to read materials in Spanish. And then the last thing that I'm going to say is we accept submissions. And teachers like you guys who are doing wonderful work teaching about DACA in your schools, we would love to hear from you, and we would love to showcase some of the work that's going around these issues. So this is the submissions guidelines, and I'm the person to email, so please do.